Jai Shri Gurudev. Good morning, my dear students, and welcome to the 7th Standard Science online classes. Yes, my dear students, in the previous class, we have discussed about the different types of the respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, breathing rate, meaning of breathing, and process of breathing in the human beings. These are all the concepts that we have discussed in the previous class. I hope you understand these are all the concepts. So dear students, in this session also we are going to discuss more information related to the respiration in our organisms. So in the previously we discussed how the respiration will be takes place in the human body. So in the human body, specifically we have the separate respiratory system. Because of that respiratory system only we can easily breathe in and breathe out the air. Then how the respiration will be takes place in other organisms like fish, cockroach, frog. How the respiration will be takes place in these organisms? Yes, dear students, come, let us discuss how the organisms will be respiration will be takes place in these organisms like fish, cockroach, frog and other organisms in this lesson. Okay? Yes, my dear students. So in this class we are going to discuss about how the respiration will be takes place in cockroach, or how the breathing will be takes place in the cockroach. So I hope you understand the previously what we are discussed the respiration in human body. So that is a totally different and more complicated as compared to the cockroach and other organisms. Dear children, I hope you're watching the one image on your screen. So here the cockroach will be breathe the air by the help of the small openings are present on the body. So that is we call it as spiracles. These spiracles are connected to the air tubes, that is what we call it as trachea. So entire cockroach body that is covered by small openings. That openings what we call it as spiracles. So these spiracles are interconnected to the air tubes. That air tubes what we call it as trachea. So it is a skeleton of the respiratory system in the cockroach. Spiracles and the trachea. The spiracles is nothing but the small openings, and the trachea is a small air tubes. So in the air tubes, by the help of the spiracles, the oxygen rich air is entered through the spiracles and passes to the trachea to all the cells in the body. The spiracles whatever is present, there is a small holes. In that small holes only the oxygen rich air is enters and it will be reaches to the trachea. Okay, so the trachea what will be done? What is the main function of the trachea? Yes, the trachea will be play a major role to pass the oxygen rich air to all the cells in the entire body of the cockroach. Then how the exchange of carbon dioxide will be takes place? So by the help of spiracles and trachea, the oxygen rich air is entered into the cockroach body for the various metabolic activities, right? No, so then same kind only, in the same by the help of the trachea and spiracles only, the carbon dioxide air is also comes out from the cockroach by the help of trachea and spiracles. Understand? No, I hope you understand how the respiration will be takes place in cockroach. So cockroach will be having the small openings on their body that small openings, what we call it as spiracles. These spiracles are connected to the small air tubes. That air tubes, what we call it as trachea. So in these spiracles, the air, oxygen rich air is entered and it will be passes to trachea. The trachea will be play a major role to transmit the oxygen gas to entire body of the cockroach. And then same kind only the carbon dioxide rich air is also comes out from the cockroach by the help of trachea and spiracles. So which means just like a human body, we have a separate respiratory system. In that respiratory system, the nostril will be play a major role for inhalation and exhalation of the air, right? No, same like that only the spiracles and trachea will be play a major role for the breathe in and breathe out of the oxygen and carbon dioxide gases in the cockroach. Okay, so I hope you understand this process of respiration will be takes, how the process of respiration will be takes place in the cockroach. So next I'm going to move the very important another organism, so that is we call it as earthworm. Yes, my dear students, it is also very important. In the earthworm, we will be observe the moist skin. Have you seen the earthworm right now? Have you observed the earthworm? And it is earthworm is also called as best friend for the farmer. Why? Because it will be very helpful to proper mixing of the manures in the soil. That's why only. And apart from that, whatever the disease causing microorganisms or bacteria will be there in the soil, that will be consumed by the earthworm only. So that's why the earthworm is a best friend for the farmers. So my dear students, then how the respiration will be takes place in the earthworm? Yes, your expectation is right. The earthworm breathe by the help of skin. So this skin of the earthworm body will be very helpful for the exchange of gases. Same like that only we will be observed in the fishes also. In the fishes will be breathed through by the help of gills. So these gills are play a major role by the process of exchange of gases. And my dear students, these gills have the blood vessels which will be very helpful for the exchange of gases. Are you observing in the picture? There is a open. There are the two pictures of the fishes are there. In that, just you are observing the U-shaped structure. That is what we call it as gills. These gills will be very helpful for the exchange of gases. So here in the gills, that gills will be contains the different kinds of the various numbers of the blood vessels. So that blood vessels will be very helpful for the exchange of gases. So when the mouth of the fish will be open up and closing, right? No, so continuously opened and closing like this, it will be do the activity. So when the fish mouth will be open up, there's a plenty of water is entered into the fish body and it will be reaches to the gills. So in the gills there is a special modified blood vessels are there. So these blood vessels will be absorb the oxygen rich air whatever is present in the water. So the fish will be inhale the dissolved oxygen present in the water. The dissolved oxygen is absorbed by the blood vessels present in the gills. So then again same like that only, whatever the carbon dioxide is present in the fish body, that's will be comes out by the help of gills only. So like this the phenomenon of respiration will be takes place in the fishes. The fish, how the fishes will be in the fishes, how the respiration will be takes place? Yes, the fish in the fishes, the respiration will be takes place by the help of special modified cells, what we call it as gills. If you come to the unicellular organisms, what do you mean by unicellular organisms, dear children? Yes, unicellular means that organism that is made up of only one kind of a cells. That is what we call it as unicellular organisms. In the unicellular organisms also, the breathing or the exchange of the gases or the phenomenon of respiration will be takes place by the help of cell membrane. I hope you understand how the respiration will be takes place in few organisms. Yes, dear children, one more very important phenomenon. So we have discussed complete information regarding how the organisms will be respiration will be takes place and exchange of the gases will be takes place. Right now, even the plants is also a kind of a living organisms. Even the plants also need oxygen for their survival. And previously, my dear students, we have discussed about the plants absorb the carbon dioxide, right? No, then why the plants will be absorb the oxygen? As listen here, the plants also take in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. Whatever the plant absorb the oxygen, that will be used in the cells to break down the glucose. Whatever the plants will be prepare their own food, that own food is in the form of glucose, right now children. So even the plants also utilize few amount of the food whatever it is extracted or prepared. So that prepared food will be also require some amount of oxygen to break down the glucose. So as a result of that, the plants also will be produces some amount of carbon dioxide and water. At the time of the breakdown of the glucose, it will be releases energy. So then how the respiration will be takes place in the plants? Yes, in the plants, we will be observe the leaves are present on the plants, right now. That leaves is also called as kitchen of the plant. Is it right now, children? Yes, in that kitchen of the plant, that is nothing but the leaves, we will be observe a small number of pores are present. That's pores, what we call it as stomata. stomata, stomata. Yes, so this stomata will be very helpful for the exchange of gases, and then even the roots also will be consisting of some amount of small hairs. That hairs is also will be very helpful for the exchange of gases in the plants. So like this, the plants also the phenomenon of respiration will be takes place. So dear children, one thing you should remember, at the time of the absence of the photosynthesis, the plants will be absorb the oxygen and release the carbon dioxide. So at the time of the photosynthesis is begin are continuously going on, so that time the plants absorb the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen gas. So this should be remember the difference between the photosynthesis, how the respiration will be takes place in the plants in the presence of photosynthesis and absence of photosynthesis. I hope you understand how the organisms will be respiration will be takes place in the different kinds of organisms. Is there any doubts or clarifications regarding this lesson? You can call me anytime and drop a WhatsApp message without fail and complete the given homeworks in time and send through WhatsApp. Thank you. Jai Shri Gurudev.